Welcome back to the E30 project. In this video, we'll be doing some maintenance on the rear drum brakes and getting rid of all this crud that's inside. So if your rear brakes look like this, then you have rear drum brakes. First thing we have to do, as usual, is to take off the wheel, and we'll put it under the car for added protection in case our jack stands fail. Now we'll remove the drum part of the brake using this 5mm hex bit. The bit goes into the retaining screw that's in the 5th hole on the drum. We'll just remove the screw completely and set it aside. Now with the handbrake off, you should be able to just lift the drum off the brakes. If your handbrakes are off and you still can't lift the drums, then your brakes are seizing up inside. The pads are pressing against the drum. Now let's take a closer look at the drum brake mechanism. So from the top, we've got a spring that holds both shoes, left and right, together, so they are not constantly rubbing against the drums. Not sure what the spring in the middle does. There's a little ratcheting mechanism at the back behind the wheel hub. We'll get a closer look later. At the bottom, that cylinder is what pushes the brakes, what engages the brakes when you step on the brake pedal. That's hydraulic. The flat metal bar is actually engaged by your handbrake lever. And that's about it. The shoes on the left and right provide the friction to stop the car. They rub against the insides of the drums. Now I'm just pressing the springs and checking whether they appear to be in serviceable condition, because I don't plan to replace any of these parts unless I really have to. Here you can see that ratcheting mechanism I mentioned. This actually expands as the materials on your shoes are worn off. So as your shoes get thinner, they will be further from the drums, but this mechanism will keep them closer to the drums so that when you step on the brakes will engage almost instantly. You don't have to wait for it to travel very far. While we're here, we're going to check if we have enough shoe material. 4mm should be enough, I think. I'll have to get these changed in another 6 to 12 months probably. Now that we know the parts are in working condition, all we have to do is clean them up using some metal wire brush and a bucket. So we'll just go all around all the mechanisms actually, and as you brush, you'll find a lot of brake dust that's just been sitting inside will start falling off. The drum brakes are basically enclosed, almost sealed mechanisms, so as the brakes wear off, there's nowhere for the brake dust to go, and they'll just stay inside and collect. So it's good to periodically clean them out so that nothing gets gunked up and stuck. So give everything a good scrubbing, but make sure you don't accidentally pull any springs off or push any levers out of place. And don't go too crazy on the brake shoe material or the surface of the pads, because you don't want to get those too scratched up. They'll make a bit of noise and they'll take some time to level out again. Now we got most of the brakes cleaned up, we have to get the brake drum itself clean too. Here you can see there's actually a bit of grease or something. Not sure what it is, but we're going to get it all cleaned out anyways. The process is pretty much the same. I'm just wiping off that grease deposit first, and then I'll get the metal wire brush and just scrub the whole thing clean. Scrub all the brake dust off. The final bit of cleaning will be done with brake parts cleaner. Just going to spray this on the drums, and this will help remove any grease, grime, and it will evaporate away without leaving any residue or any oiliness. Let it evaporate, and you can also wipe it dry. And I'm just going to also give it a final scrub to loosen any remaining stuff that might still be on there. Here's the brake drum all cleaned up. And here's all the brake dust that we got out of the system. Before I put everything back together, I'm just going to hit the rest of the brakes with the brake parts cleaner. And now, reassembly is the reverse of removal. Slide the drums back on, make sure you line up the hole for the retaining screw. Reinstall the retaining screw, and we'll just snug this up by feel so it's tight. The wheel bolts will actually hold the whole thing securely, so the retaining screw is just here to hold the drums while the wheels are off. But you don't want it to be loose because you don't want it to start rattling around as you're driving. Before I put the wheels back on, I'm just scrubbing the outer surface of the drum. We want this surface to be as clean as possible so that the wheel can sit flush with the drums. The flatter the wheel can sit on the drums, the better. Finally, I'm just going to put this shitty spacer back on, and I'll bolt the wheel back on. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. In the next video, I'll be bleeding the brake fluid and installing brand new replacement parts for the front brakes. I painted the front calipers in the previous video too. Check that out.